Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Players take control of Cal Kestis, a young man trying to work on the planet of Braca, where he is scrapping ships from the Clone Wars, and unfortunately for him, he's put in a position where he has to save a friend, but the only way he can save him is by using the Force. And by using the Force, he reveals himself as a true Jedi. And this is where the story begins and the combat opens up, and that is one of the best things about this game. The overall combat, while not as tight as a Dark Souls game as it's being promoted as, sometimes hindered by bad camera angles and just a overall looseness, still feels rewarding, especially when you start blocking and parrying, be it incoming lightsabers, attacks from random little varmints, or most hilariously, lasers shot at you by stormtroopers. If you time it correctly, the lasers will bounce off of your lightsaber and back at the stormtroopers to potentially set up a one-hit kill. A majority of the gameplay when it comes to the combat, it's so gratifying, it's so fun, that round out the combat beyond just using your lightsaber and your agility is the Force skills. Cal can push, he can slow down time, and he can pull certain enemies. These skills also, if you feel like the adversary is a little too fast, you can slow it down, get a couple of hits, and evade before doing the same thing over. And of course there is a stamina meter and a force meter, so you just can't repeatedly do it over and over again. You have to be very timely with your attacks and with your usage of the Force. One of the most interesting things when it comes to the overall presentation, when it comes to combat and skills, is the meditation points. These meditation points are not only used for saving, but also for allocating those skill points that you gain with each defeat of an enemy. But most importantly is the fact that resting, which allows for you to recover all of your health, and the health stems that you can call during combat or just running around certain areas from your robotic buddy BD1, who also has some abilities of its own right. But upon resting, you also respawn enemies in the area. So the decision becomes whether or not you want to go through certain enemies, if you feel like you have to backtrack. Or you can just try to chance it and see how well you do, and if not, you'll have to respawn and do it all over again. Another interesting aspect is the fact that if you die at the hands of an enemy, that enemy will take control of the skill points and the XP and the life that you've gained up to that point. And once you attack that person again, you will get it all back. So once again, it really is a chance reward system that I think is done really well. On the opposite end of the spectrum, something that I don't feel is done as expertly well is the platforming. There is a lot of platforming in this game. Some of the platforming actually utilizes the Force powers. Unfortunately, the platforming definitely leaves something to be desired, as unlike the Tomb Raider or Uncharted series where you jump from point A to point B, it almost feels like there's a magnetic grab when it comes to Nathan Drake or Lara Croft when they try to jump from this area to this area. You think that, man, it's just not close enough, I'm going to miss it, and thankfully the computer in the game assists you in landing that jump so you don't have to restart all over again. The Fallen Order doesn't do that. This game will have you dying so much because of just bad jumps, or even when you get close to an object you think that he will grab on, and he doesn't. He just slides right off into his death. From a narrative and character perspective, thus far it's been solid, though I feel that Cal is something of a weak protagonist. He feels like a Joe Everyman. There are little things here and there like collectibles that can help boost your health, and even some little Easter eggs here and there, but nothing extraordinary that makes it any different from any other open world or semi-open world game. From a technical aspect, I've heard a lot of problems in regards to the PS4 version, which is the one I'm playing on, ironically enough, of major crashes and graphical glitches and frame rate drops. And though I've had some graphical glitches, mostly just items or objects going through walls when they shouldn't, and some frame rate drops that really have been significant, I haven't had any major problems. I haven't had any crashes. I haven't had any game-breaking glitches. So it may not be a technical marvel, but it's still very, very functional. And to me, even as a PS4 player, it shouldn't be that much of a detriment to the player. Overall, this is actually a surprisingly good game. I know EA has a bad reputation when it comes to games like this, but the fact of the matter is that Respawn was allowed to create a nice semi-open world game that features combat, some good storytelling, and some Star Wars lore. And to me, they really delivered on all of these things. If you're on the fence about it, I say give it a rental. I guarantee you after a couple of hours you will say, hey, I really do enjoy this, or you will just say, you know what, I'll just wait for it to be on sale. But this is one of those games that to me, especially if you're a lover of Star Wars, you shouldn't pass up. It's a very, very good game that honestly surprised me with its quality, and I'm excited to play more. So there you have it. This has been Soulful Lordy. James Bullock, once again, with another video game first impressions. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Now if you don't mind, I have a revolution to start. I have my force powers, I have people coming at me, I have stormtroopers trying to shoot me, but most importantly, I have Wookiees to free. And once they are set free and we can call forth a revolution, the Galactic Empire and all its forces will have no choice but to say, oh lordy.